Bro, can I make a build about the new Warframe? Xaku with you? Welcome to another episode of Off the Meta, where I make a build vid and tell you how I came up with the idea. New Warframe, new build ideas. Also, Hellman. I'm gonna combine the two to make the gun! I'll start off with Xaku's mods. Aura slot, doesn't matter. You can swap that up on whether you want energy economy, armor reduction, or shield disruption. Or even slap on an aura forma for even more variety. Going to be using this Excella slot for Cunning Drift for important reasons. Spoiler warning, it's for gun. Next, utilize one of those D slots for a defensive mod. I've found Vitality and Redirection to both be equally handy, but you can try out something like Carnus Carapace to try out that new evade mechanic. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of all this next. Primed Flow for energy, obviously. Blind Rage is next. It's going to give enough power strength to outweigh the drawbacks of Overextended, which you'll need for even more gun. Stretch for even more gun, along with Augur Reach for even more gun. Augur Secrets for more power strength, and we'll top it all off with Primed Continuity. When it comes to additional gear for Xaku, Arcanes aren't going to matter too much for the integrity of this build, so use whatever you want. The only other important thing for this build is Helmet. The first thing I did was yeet Mag into the Hungry Maw of Frank. Why? Because I have the capacity for 16 guns thanks to all that range, and I want to use them. By using Pull, I can drag enemies into gun yoink range and take their weapons away for my own uses. Pretty nifty, right? But you might ask, why not Larva? Honestly, Larva is more hassle than it's worth for Xaku. Get a bad pull? Well, that's it. You have to kill the enemy's larva and start all over again. With pull, you get a repeatable CC that allows you to drag enemies in until you're satisfied, and then take their guns. Also, you're not limited by line of sight, by pull, or by grasp of Loke. Personally, I sacrifice Xaku's 3 in favor of pull. It's a really complicated ability that doesn't quite feel worth it to me, and it also feels too clunky to use in regular combat much of the time. And that's it, really. Augment this build with some energy regeneration abilities, either through Zenuric or by utilizing an Exodia Brave heavy weapon, and you've got a fantastic build. Keep in mind, however, that this is only really useful outside of Steel Path for the most part. You can take it in to maybe utilize against Infested, maybe even Corpus, but Grineer Armor is really a pain to deal with for Xaku. Using weapons is actually completely optional. So long as you've got energy for guns, Xaku can do most of the work for you. You may have to take out the occasional heavy, but the guns can mostly handle all the trash mobs. Now, I want to talk about some synergies I've discovered with this build. First, Xaku really likes being partnered with frames like Korra and Vauban. Their ability to hold enemies for Xaku is really handy for Xaku to steal their guns and shoot them with their own guns with complete impunity. Alongside that, by using Pull, Xaku can drag enemies into their abilities. Xaku really likes being with a team. How did I come up with this build? Well, I bought Xaku, Precuz Shotgun Riven, got them leveled, and started experimenting with mod sets. I discovered that range affects the amount of guns you get, and that his max is 16. And honestly, that felt too good to pass up. Maybe I'll experiment with a max strength and duration build for utilizing only a few really strong guns, but this felt like much more fun. There's nothing quite like having a blaze of gunfire surrounding you and knowing it's all yours. It feels like a cozy area to be inside. Since the Helmet system was teased, there's been a lot of frames I've wanted to put Pull on, Xaku being the second. I've already made 2 Vauban builds for my channel, so I don't want to make a third yet, but Pull on Vauban is really good and was my first desire. I'll probably wind up putting it on Korra as well. Anyways, Xaku is one of those frames that really wants everything. Clearly you can modify a build like this in many ways. More duration, more power strength, or more gun. Alas, you can't really do it all at the same time, and that's really all there is to it. So with the build done, yeet Mag into a giant mouth, get stabbed, bring the enemy to their knees, shed your corporeal skin, summon the void in your heart, and fill it with guns! Glorious guns! I am having fun!